I'm going to be a little less fired up than I was last night because I believe the quote was that I need to be more like my normal teddy bear self instead of being the mean joker. So tonight we are going to talk about something that you guys asked for 2 Fridays ago, which is gambling. You may have already seen it when I was talking and my mic was off. Um, but I believe that whether we want to admit it or not, we're all guilty of this at one time or another, hopefully not as a pattern of behavior, but that we've all done at one point or another, and it's gambling. Gambling is a cardinal sin when it comes to day trading. Okay. And what we do is very similar to actual gambling. The difference between us is that we have an edge. We've defined our edge, and ideally, we're only playing our edge, which is identified through our trade plan. To define gambling, gambling is to take risky action in the hope of a desired result. Let's go back to what we talked about last night. Do we have any control over the market whatsoever? I hope that was a resounding no out there. But we have no control over the market. So we do not want to be desiring a certain result. We need to be in the flow. We need to be executing our trade plan clearly that gives us an edge. If we don't have an edge, if we're not identifying and then executing that edge, then we are gambling, point blank, period. That's all there is to it. Guess what happens when you gamble? Odds are you lose money. Yeah, you're going to win sometimes. You know, a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes, right? A broken clock's wrong twice a day. But the more that you're right in that gambling mentality and the more you reinforce that behavior, the worse that the overall long-term outcome is going to be for you. Because then you're going to fight it at times when you shouldn't fight it. You're going to be holding and hoping. You're going to be over trading, all these other examples of gambling. But specifically tonight, I don't want to focus only on those negatives, even though this series this week has been a tough love series that's kind of been focused on the title negatives. But of course, I like to talk about the byproducts and the solutions here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Gambling will cause a range of emotions. Okay. And it's one thing that we've talked about in excess here in this Discord is trying to eliminate emotions from our trading. The more that we're able to eliminate those emotions, the more that we're able to control those emotions, the more successful that we're going to be as traders. Gambling causes this range of emotions, and I've identified some of these here. Gambling causes extreme excitement. It can cause euphoria, anxiety, stress, frustration, guilt, depression, and hope. Does anybody notice this list of emotions looks very, very similar to a previous talk? It looks like last night. It looks like all the things that we were trying to overcome last night, right here, right in front of us. And gambling causes these emotions. And we said last night that if we can overcome impatience, then we'll be eliminating each one of these. So if we're gambling, we're doing what? We're pouring gas on that fire. We're making those emotions twice as powerful, 10 times as powerful. We're adding those into our psychology. So if we can eliminate gambling, then that's a lot less emotion that we have to deal with. That will hopefully lead to further good behavior, such as being patient, such as executing your plan, such as being disciplined. I know I heard OT saying it several times today. Those are the things that you need to be successful. Being confident, being disciplined, being patient. If we can do this, we can win. And you guys are pure proof of that. Those of you who are showing green days today, A's, B trade days, blue book days. If you didn't see your setup, you didn't trade. Well, guess what happens when that happens? That means you didn't gamble. That's perfect. That's an A+ to me. Now we're going to talk about what each one of these emotions really means and how it affects you in your trading life so that we can work on cutting out gambling from our day-to-day life. Let's talk about excitement first. Excitement, you get the thrill of the gamble and the potential for winning can cause you to have a rush of adrenaline, a chemical reaction inside your body, and a feeling of excitement. I don't know how many of you have ever been to the casino, but they pump that oxygen in there so you feel euphoric. There's no clocks anywhere, so you don't know how long you've been there. There's all the lights and sounds and the buzzer and the ding, 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 wheel of fortune. And then you hear the brrrr, and there's all these things to stimulate that same exact rush of adrenaline to get you pumped up, to get you in the mood to gamble, to give you that feeling of hope, to make you think that you're going to win some money that you didn't earn. When we play our edge, we've identified it, we've done the work to create our trade plan, and then we execute our trade plan. We've earned that money. We went out, we went to battle, we went and played the game, and we earned our money. Gambling, we didn't earn it. If we're out here just running and gunning, shooting for anything that passes our path, well, of course, when we win, we're going to know we didn't earn it. We're going to feel that rush of adrenaline, that feeling of excitement. Well, guess what happens after you have that rush of adrenaline? Your body's going to have that same low. If you're on a flat line and your body's spiked up with all that adrenaline and that chemical brain dump, and then all of a sudden you have, and you crash. And now you've went through that whole wave while you're trying to do a job, while you're trying to run a business. Do you think that's cohesive for your success? I don't think so. So if we can eliminate gambling by what? Sticking to our trade plan. You're going to hear that a lot tonight, just like you heard it last night. OT started this week with a chat entitled Back to the Fundamentals. What's step one? What's the thing that every single one of you in here should have and should be executing is trade plan. Trade plan. Trade plan. Once again, you're going to hear it a lot more than that tonight. But if we can eliminate gambling through our trade plan, we can cut down on this rush of adrenaline. Then, guys, I love adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Let's go ride motorcycles as fast as we can possibly run them. You know, let's go play paintball. Let's go do something fun. Let's go rent a race car. We'll keep that adrenaline outside of our trading platform. We'll keep that crash outside of our trading platform and hopefully keep the crash out of the racetrack or the motorcycle race. Let's talk about euphoria. Who's ever hit a jackpot? Slot machine? Who's ever played a blackjack bet, roulette, or something? You feel that rush. You start getting all tingly. You start feeling it, and you maybe felt it in a trade. When you earn it, I still feel that, okay? And I'm not saying that euphoria is a bad thing. I'm saying it's a direct byproduct of gambling, but euphoria can also come when you earn it. Euphoria can come when you are at the gym and you bust that personal record and you say, wow, personal best. Or when you waited 4 hours. Well, don't let me say that. When you waited 2 hours, because hopefully I know some of y'all are out here trading all day, but this country boy right here can't focus on something for 4 hours. I'll be honest with you. If I sit there for 4 hours, no trade, you might as well blindfold me because I don't need to have my finger on the trigger. I don't need to be playing with the mouse. I need to go ahead and shut the platform down. Let's just say you've been patiently waiting on your setup to come. You're still within your rules for your time limit of focus. And you earn that trade and you feel euphoria, that's a great thing. But when you feel it in the ways of the gamble, then you know that winning a big payout can create a sense of euphoria, and you feel like you're on top of the world. I know y'all have felt that. When that's the case, what does that emotion typically lead to for each and every one of y'all? I'll tell you what it equals for me. It typically equals overconfidence. It typically equals a breakdown in my rule set because I say to myself, that's right, you sexy man, you're smarter than this market. You got them nailed down. You're way out ahead. And what happens then? All of a sudden, bing, overtrade. I'm in a trade and I shouldn't be in the trade. It's not inside my trade plan. And guess what happens? Spank, 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 spank. And I lose that money. Now my account's down. Why? Because I felt euphoric? Because I'm the guy on the front of the Titanic talking about, I'm the king of the world. Almost every big red day that I've had has come almost immediately the day after a big green day. And that's because now I have lesser big days to either direction and they're a little bit more dialed in. But it's also because most likely I didn't deserve those green days because I wasn't within inside my trade plan. I took a trade and gambled and got lucky. And I'll tell you, I'm a lucky son of a gun, guys. Everyone in here knows I'm one of the luckiest people they know. But what happens is when I play on that luck, when I rely on that luck, that euphoria sets in and bad behavior continues. That's what we're trying to eliminate. And I can remember back, back when Golden came and he was doing the whole thing in the other place. And it was, hey, let's put on the happy dance. Let's do the Carlton. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Right? And I'm doing the money dance. And OT said, you fool. You simpleton. Well, you gonna get excited over your, something you didn't even earn? But what are you gonna do on the bad day? You gonna shoot yourself in the foot? You gonna give your own self a real spanking? He said, this is a business. This is business as usual. We're trying to eliminate that feeling of euphoria. We're trying to eliminate that feeling of despair. This is a business. It's red and green candles, but the numbers are black and white, baby. Either you're in the profit or you're in the loss. So settle down on some of that euphoria, and maybe you'll settle down on some of that other bad stuff. Amen, Miss Gwen. He really does. The next thing that gambling can cause, maybe you remember this as a direct reflection of things that cause impatience from last night, but gambling causes anxiety. Do you have any anxiety when you execute your trade plan the way that it should be executed? You have your proper risk management designed the way that it should be designed. So you're perfectly comfortable losing that amount of money that you're putting at risk in order to make this trade executable. If your stop loss is, 50 cent stop loss, okay, I lost that 50 cent, whatever. If your stop loss is $100, if your stop loss is 10%, you know that amount of money is getting risked on this trade. And then you know that if you've taken your proper setup and you're playing your edge more times than not, you're going to win. So there's no anxiety in the matter. You're following your what? Trade plan. I told you you're going to hear it a lot tonight. The uncertainty of the outcome of a gamble can create feelings of anxiety, particularly when a lot of money is at stake. Okay, what's the first rule of trading and what's the first rule of gambling? Anybody know? I used to hang out in a lot of casinos. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose. Okay? And that should be the same all the way down to each and every amount that you put at risk for each and every trade. That should be to the point of each and every amount that you're willing to win or lose for the day. That should be all the way up to the amount you're willing to lose or gain for the month, and then all the way to your total bankroll strategy in your account. If you've got your rent money in your platform and you're trying to trade it, it's very natural that it's going to cause anxiety. That's an almost certainty. And guess what happens when you have that anxiety? You're going to be impatient. What happens when you're impatient? You break your trade plan. You see how this all connects together, guys? Am I making sense here? Because this, if we can eliminate gambling, we can eliminate anxiety, and the contagious effect of success will continue to grow exponentially. And next thing you know, you're trading business as usual. You're calm. You're executing your trade plan. You're doing the things that you should do. You're not gambling. You're doing all the things that you should. What else does gambling cause? Stress. How many times did I say last night one of the top ways to reduce impatience is what? To eliminate stress. And then we turned around and said what? What did we say about stress? We said all the things that we've been saying. Support group, which we have here. We said self-care, your fitness routine, your diet, your substances, all the things that were in almost every category last night. Look at this. Almost every one of the negative attributes of this comes from gambling. Stress is the pressure to win or the fear of losing of money can cause you to have those feelings of stress. Let me tell you what reduces that. Properly identifying your trade plan, properly identifying your bankroll and risk management strategy so that you are completely comfortable to lose that $15. On an MES trade, one futures contract of MES, a $3 stop loss on one contract is $15. For me, that's a very comfortable place to be. And if I say, okay, for today, I can risk my stop loss XYZ amount of times, and I don't mind if I lose that $15. It's boom. Okay, I didn't win that one. Part of the game, business as usual, move on to the next trade. But let's just say that I'm playing that small account and I decide, oh, okay, so I got $200 in the small account. I'm going to go ahead and bet 4 MES. Well, now all of a sudden that same $3 stop loss is turned into, what's that, 15 times 4, $60. But one trade can put me down more than 25% on my account. I mean, come on, guys. Do we need to be gambling like that? Do we need to be bumping up our risk management to the point that we're not comfortable with that amount of money? Do we need to be gambling to the point of saying, you know what, I've had 4 losers in a row. I'm going to go ahead and take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more trades to see if I could bump my way out of this hole. I'll tell you how that ends up. I'll tell you how it ends up 99% of the time because I've tried it. Just about every single way you can do it. It ends up with you digging the hole deeper. It ends up with you not sticking to your trade plan. It ends up with you not taking ideal setups. And when that happens, what are you doing? You're gambling. You're gambling. Let's put gambling in a timeout tonight, guys. Otherwise, don't even let me get there. Let me just calm my stress level for a second because I'm getting fired up. I'm getting frustration. And that's how I feel about gambling. Guys, some of y'all that know me know, on the job sites, I used to see who could throw quarters closest to the wall for $50 bills. I used to travel around casino to casino playing blackjack with an edge, granted, but it's still a wild ride. I would gamble, guys, and gambling for me causes frustration. I knew, okay, there's got to be something else that I could do besides playing edge on blackjack, despite the fact that I made a decent amount of money. But losing money can create feelings of frustration and disappointment. How do you mitigate that? How do you minimize the amount of frustration and disappointment that you feel from losing money? Number 1, you don't risk money that you can't afford to lose. Number 2, you properly size your bankroll and your risk management to the amount of money that you have available to play. Period. If you can do that, you can minimize the frustration. And let's talk again. Remember, 2-3 weeks ago, we had a whole talk about the thought habit loop. Okay? And how your thoughts become your words, become your actions, become your habits, become your character. The same thing works in the stock market to where you feel the frustration, you feel the anxiety, you have the thought of, I can't afford to lose this money. I can't afford to take a red trade because for some reason this one trade is more important than my consistent success as a long-term trader. So you say, fine, I'm going to blow it out of the water. I'm going to break my trade plan. I'm going to break my discipline. Okay, so now you've turned a thought into an action. You've traded a BS setup that's outside of your trade plan. You're running and gunning. You're gambling. You're doing all these things that are impatient and improper. And what happens? Almost every single time, what happens? It gets worse. It gets worse. The hole gets deeper. You lose more money. You become more frustrated. You become more anxious. You become more impatient. Your trade plan is yesterday's news. You done used it to start a fire in the fireplace. You're over here in left field chasing your own tail, not knowing what the hell's going on. Excuse my French, what the heck is going on. And then you're frustrated more. And that cycle, that habit loop, that thought loop continues to create itself until you do what? You have to break it. You have to break that cycle loop. How do you break it? Put yourself in timeout if you have to. Put gambling in timeout so that you can continue to be in the game. So you don't have to sit on the bench. So that you don't have to be out of the trading. So that you don't blow up your account and can't make the money that you need to make for your long-term goals, for your vision board, for the things that you desire to be who you are and who you want to be. Put it in timeout. Otherwise, you already know what. What else does gambling cause? Guilt. Man, I don't know what kind of background you guys got. I grew up as an independent, fundamental, Bible-believing Baptist church, baby. I was at the school every day, and at the church house 3, 4, 5 times a week. I know about guilt, guys. I'm good at guilt. And I'm good at feeling guilty. And every single time I gamble in the stock market, I feel guilt. And is that healthy emotion for me to be a successful trader? No, it's absolutely not. Because I feel like when I start gambling, that's it. I've gone off the rails like Ozzy Osbourne. I'm rolling down on the crazy train. Right? You ever felt like you're on the crazy train? I have. When I first started futures, baby, I was going. I've told y'all this in previous chats. Let me hit a bobby and make 300 plus trades in a day. I wasn't really that running and gunning, but I was running and gunning. I can't judge that, man. I'll tell you that. And you know what I felt after that? Guilt. I felt guilt. I felt junky about myself. I felt like, how could I do this to my account? How could I do this to my family's money? How can I do this to my future self that's doing the work to create the life that he wants? And Bobby, I have no room to judge anybody, brother. You were open and honest about that, and I appreciate it. I see you in that chat. I know you were in the simulator and not real money. Okay, so anybody listening, just know this man was in the simulator and not real money. It just came to my head, sir. I apologize for that. But anyways, outside of that, I felt like, how can I do this when I'm putting in the work, when I'm turning down a cookie over here so that I could get my abs? When I'm saving money, done cut off Showtime and HBO Max to save money so I can get my bigger house. How can I cheat these two aspects of my future self by putting the money at risk over here in the trading market? Man, really? Really, how can I do this to myself? How can I do this in my own future? That's not the way I want to live, guys. And I tell you what, I've never once felt guilty about losing money when I played my edge. When I executed my trade plan the way that it should be executed, when I stuck to the rules and time limits that I had set for myself and to my risk management limit, I never felt guilty about having a red day, not once. It's part of the game. But I have felt guilty about that bad behavior, guys. And then when you do that, you know where that goes. Next thing you know, you're in a whole loop. That loop's continuing again, and now you're feeling what? Now you're feeling depressed. Now you're saying, man, oh God, I've lost $3,000 of my family's money. What are we going to do? That was part of Junior's college fund. That was part of the 401k. That was money that I hid under my mattress since I was 14 years old. That was my bar mitzvah money, and now it's gone because I couldn't stick to my trade plan. The next thing you know, that starts spiraling down out of control. And then what happens? In that side of you over there that's been going to the gym and turning down those cookies said, you know what? I'm no good. I can't make it as a trader. I'm going to fire up that pizza. I want 2 of them upside down with a hamburger in the middle. Something like you're living on 600-pound, whatever, anatomy, whatever that thing is. Next thing you know, you're riding one of them scooters up the hill. Man, you know it. It's a cycle. Next thing you know, it starts falling apart everywhere. There's only one way to fix it. Put it in timeout. If you can't put it in timeout, then you know what to do, guys. Chronic gambling can lead to feelings of depression as the individual may feel that they've lost control over their life. I've never once felt out of control in my life except for an extended losing period of time in trading. And I'll tell you this, I deserved to feel like that at the time. Thank God that I had some friends that were able to be supportive to me. Thank God that I had tutors and mentors in my life. Mr. OT for trading, for one thing. Other mentors in my life that were able to help me get it back on track. People that I had surrounded me help give me strength and to help put myself and my negative thought cycle in timeout. Otherwise, who knows what this would be like, guys. And I want each and every one of you to know, no matter how you're feeling, you can always lean on me. And I believe I speak for OT the same way. You can lean on him. We're here for you guys because we know the struggle. We've been there. We've done that. Okay? And I promise you, you could call me. I may not wake up, but if I'm up, I'm here for you 24 hours a day, guys. Don't fall into that cycle of depression. Put it into timeout. Last but not least, gambling causes hope. Some individuals may experience a sense of hope, thinking that their next bet will be that one that changes their fortune. We got people in this thing that are down lifetime 6 figures. You really think that next bet, that next options trade is going to get you out of that hole? We got some people in here that haven't been trading that long. Maybe they're green. Maybe they're green 10K. Maybe they're green 6 figures. I know some people in this chat are also green 6 figures from this. The hope doesn't factor into that. It's one trade at a time, just like how you eat an elephant. One bite at a time. Okay? A little while ago, Skadoosh posted a very motivational Instagram reel, and it said, Mr. Skadoosh, hope is not a what?
Strategy.
Damn right. Hope is not a strategy, guys. We're not out here living on a prayer. Whoa. My account's living on a prayer. Whoa. Spy, can you please go up $1 more? That's not how I'm playing out here. Is that how you're playing? I've played like that before. It's easy to fall into that bad habit. I know that. But what's the deal, guys? We got to put that hope in the timeout. We got to put that hope in the timeout. Because hope is not a strategy. We're here to play our edge. Each and every single one of us should have what as the foundation of our house? Somebody scream it out, please, because I'm fired up. Somebody sing it out. What does each and every one of us required to have before we do anything? Thank you, Danny. A trade plan. A trade plan. That's the foundation of your house. If you don't have the foundation of your house is going to fall into the earth. We talked about church a little while ago. Hey, who remembers that nursery rhyme? The wise man built his house upon the rock. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. If you don't got a trade plan, then that's what you need to go do is pound sand. Because you ain't got nothing. Your house going to fall over. You ain't got no foundation. The trade plan is where it's at, guys. Okay? And I know I told you up front, I warned you. I told you I was getting fired up this week. Trade plan is number one. Trade plan is number one. It's important to remember that gambling can be addictive and can lead you to financial problems. You know, during these chats, I get fired up. If you have a gambling plan, reach out to somebody. A problem. Reach out to somebody who will help you, will get you the necessary resources. But I'm not here to gamble with y'all. I'm not here to invite y'all to gamble. Unless you want to gamble on the Dallas Cowboys kicker making a field goal. I'm not gambling with my family's money. I'll gamble with my discretionary effort money, okay? It's essential to be aware of the emotional triggers that gambling can create. And you must seek help from me, from OT, from your battle buddy, from the hotline. However we can get you help, guys, we will if you have this problem. You know, my call to action tonight is very simple. In order to rid ourselves of these negative emotions, we have to put gambling in timeout. And if you can't put gambling in your timeout, put yourself in timeout. Point blank, period. Get with me, get with OT, get with your battle buddy. Draw out your trade plan, that simulator, practice your edge. And when you're ready to come out of timeout, the only time you're ready to come out of timeout is when you've got your trade plan fully identified. You're ready to execute your trade plan and your trade plan only. Otherwise, guys, you guys stay in timeout. You know I love you guys. You know I'm here to help you. I'm fired up only because I want to see y'all win. I want to see all my homies rich. Mr. OT, I turn it back over to you, sir.